All right, finishing up on this car. That wire that's underneath the header, I had to take the header completely loose, and I had to unloosen the exhaust from that side. Try to get that wire out of there. Apparently it goes in front of the second primary on those headers, so I'll have to raise all the headers up, get that wire out. And then I guess they had a bunch of that flame resistant cloth stuff on there. I forget what it's called. But it got dark on me. I can't really see out here. So pulled this one in, and we're gonna hook a two-step up to it. I'm gonna hook up this LNC-2000. It'll give me a timing retard for nitrous. That way I don't have to change tunes every time. I can just flip the switch, it'll pull the timing for me. And then we got a two-step up here. It's pretty easy to hook up. The two-step will work through a 12 volt or a ground, and the retard works through a 12 volt. And yeah, that'll be real easy to set up. I'll have to use 2 relays. That way, when I'm on the trans brake, the nitrous cannot come on. But as soon as I release the trans brake, then the nitrous can come on. But I'm gonna put it right here. I used to have a forgot what that thing was called. It was a cool-on plug setup for the LT1 that used it still used the optical sensor in the opti, but it didn't use the cap and rotor. It switched it over to coils per cylinder like an LS1 would be. I can't believe I can't remember the name of that. It's made by Bailey. Bob Bailey, I believe. I'm beginning to think leaves are magic. Look in here. I already dug out a bunch of leaves, but I had this car sitting in the middle of the yard. I've already dug out a bunch of leaves. And leaves got everywhere in here. Everywhere. I had it sitting in the middle of the yard where no trees are. Magical leaves. But anyway, yep, I'm gonna hook it right up there, and then I'll go over how I hook the relays up so the relay can't come on with the trans brake. But this is why I ain't been using the trans brake. I needed a two-step. So this is a two-step and a timing retard, so that serves both our needs right there. Alright, drilled me some pilot holes, and then just put some little self-tappers in there. Be aware that the tire's on the other side. Don't use too long that they'll go through and hit the tire. I just use like a 1/2 inch. Plus I got skinnies. My tire don't go over that far anyway. I don't think it would go up that high either. Yeah, it's way up in there, see? All good. Alright, I'm gonna hook the coils up. I guess these ain't numbered, so I don't guess it matters which one it goes to. I'm just gonna see if the cars start without it even plugged in, which it should. See, these sides have where you bypass it. It grounds it, gives it power and everything through here. But yeah, this side will go to one bank. It don't matter which side, from what I understand. And the other side I've already got over there will go to the other bank. Again, it doesn't matter which side. All right, both sides are hooked up. Plug one side into the coil harness and one wire, or the other side into the ECM harness. Same thing over there. Let's see if it starts. Works like a charm. Now we have to hook up the yellow. Yep, right here. This is the 12 volt activation wire. It says for the two-step. And it looks like, what's that sound over there? Whoop. It looks like 3500. If that's the case, that's where it's staying. Alright, I just ran some wires over here. The nitrous goes through there, and that wiring harness for these coil packs have to come through here. So actually I'm going to move this one back to this one, and they'll just run these 2 wires up with it, since there's already wires coming across there. But now this is the single pole double throw relay. Now on this one, yeah, on this one, oh, I'm zoomed in a little bit too far. Yeah. On this one, this white wire is the ground wire to activate the relay. And this red wire is the power wire I use for my fog lights to activate the relay. So the relay won't come on until it sees ground on this white wire and power on this red wire. So, and then the white wire also goes up and it goes through the fuel pressure safety switch. When the fuel pressure safety switch drops so low, it don't ground it out no more. But if the fuel pressure is good, then it grounds it out, and then it comes up here to this micro switch, and then this has to ground it out too before it'll ground out. So when it don't have power and it don't have ground, then the power would go from this bottom one to this middle one. But now once you activate it, it goes from, well, I said that wrong. The black one's the main power. So the black one's the main power. So when it's not activated, it goes from the black one to the middle one, which I've pulled that out. But once you activate it with power here and ground here, then it goes from here up to the top one. And I'll show you that a little bit more on this right here. Have a seat here so I can get it to focus. All right. So normally, if the relay is not activated, power goes from 30 to 87A. The current goes through there. Now once you activate a power and a ground on this side, then the current goes from here to here. So we want to hook it up in a way that when this is energized, the 2-step comes on. It goes through here with the trans brake button. But now as soon as we let off that trans brake button, we want it to go through here and activate the nitrous. So the main nitrous power is going to go to this middle one. The main power to the relay is going to go here. And then the nitrous is going to come off this middle one. And then the trans brake is going to come off the top one. And then that way when we hit the nitrous, or when we push the trans brake button and the nitrous is turned on, the circuit will go from here to here, and the nitrous ain't getting nothing yet. But as soon as we let off that trans brake button, you know, and you can do it through a power or a ground, but this has to see ground and this has to see power for it to go through these top two. Actually, one's supposed to be 85 and 86. 85 is supposed to be the ground, 86 is supposed to be the power. And then 30 is your main power, which is this one. And then it'll say normally open circuit, which that gets confusing because that open circuit means it's disconnected. It's not touching together, so it's turned off. And then normally closed circuit, which means it's closed, it's touching together, means it's on. So when the relay does not have a power and a ground, current goes through these two. When it sees a power and a ground, well, let me tell you right, the 85's the ground. When it sees a power and a ground, then current flows through these two. So we want the nitrous here and the trans brake here. And then our main power source right there. Now that we've got it all plugged in, I don't really think it matters if this one's ground or power or this one's ground or power to make the relay work, but it says this one's supposed to be the ground, so that's what we'll go with, and this one's supposed to be the power. and this is your main in. Now this could be your main in power, to switch power to here or switch power to here, the pink and the yellow, or this could be your main ground. You could do it with a ground, and then relay not energized, the ground would go through here. Relay energized, then it'd go through the red and the yellow, go from the red to the yellow, and then hot here and ground here energizes it. So we're going to hook the nitrous up to this pink one and the trans brake up to the yellow one. So since this relay's already set up, we're not even going to bother with it. So the main power that went into this relay, we're going to take it and take it to this relay. And then we're going to come out the middle one. So when the relay is not energized, then that'll go back to the nitrous. Again, remember, even with this power going to this relay can't come on until it sees power here and ground here, the way we've got it wired. So already got the main power going in, and then we'll run this orange one back over to this relay. That way when we're off the button, the nitrous can come on, but only if the nitrous is turned on. Now I forgot where I left off, but this power block, it comes right off the battery. So we got power going into the relay. Since the relay is not energized, it comes out the middle, and that goes over to the nitrous relay. Now the nitrous, normally it would come out that middle one. I don't have anything there. But now this is the power wire that activates the relay. I turn my fog lights on for this one, that gives it power. And this one grounds the relay. This one goes through the fuel pressure safety switch and the wide open throttle switch. So if those two don't complete the circuit, then it don't ground out and the relay don't get turned on. But once that grounds out, then it sends power down this one to the solenoids and turns the solenoids on. And then the other side of the solenoids are just grounded over here on this grounding block. So what we're going to do is we're going to run, because we don't want the timing retard to kick in until we hit the nitrous. We don't want to just turn the switch on and boom, it's retarding timing, because then it'll idle like crap, it'll do a burnout like crap and stuff like that. So we don't want it to pull that timing out of that box until this sees power. The relay's energized, it sends power from this black wire from this relay, and boom, down this one. So we're going to hook the retard wire, we're going to bridge it into this one. So, which turns into a black wire. So we're just going to, yeah, I don't really have enough room to take that. I'm going to have to put another one right there. There's going to be 3 wire crimpers right there. Oh well, as long as it works. So we're going to put the timing retard there. And then right there it says orange 12 volt retard activate. So I've turned the orange wire into a blue wire because I didn't have another orange wire. So let's splice in right here and we'll put that right there. Now one bad thing for doing it that way is I had a nitrous controller type thing hooked up to there instead of a relay, but see, that would pulsate that line and that would pulsate the timing, and we can't have that. So I went ahead and just hooked the relay back up. But I had one of them maximizer EZs that you just turn the dial, but that's not going to work with this setup, unfortunately, unless I just put that wire on this main power wire for this relay. But when well, then it would pull timing the whole time. It would pull timing no matter what, so that wouldn't work. Yeah, so if we hooked it here, it would be pulling timing continuously. So what we could do is we could hook it to here, that way when the fog lights come on, then it pulls the timing. and just don't turn the fog lights on. But just don't turn the fog lights on until I get up to the stage lanes and ready to spray the nitrous. That would probably be the better choice, yeah. But if I ever do decide to use that, then I'll just switch this wire for the retard over to my fog light control. So when I turn the fog light on to turn the nitrous on, then it'll start pulling the timing, and then I can just do my burnout. But I can just do my burnout and then start the stage, then flip my fog light on to power the solenoid or the relay. But I'll cross that bridge when we get there. If I ever need to use that again, I'll just remember to move it over. As for right now, I don't want it pulling timing until the nitrous actually comes on and sends power down through there. So that's why I'm going to leave it for now. So now, all right, so when the relay is activated, which we're going to have that on the push button for the trans brake, we want the power to come out here. It's going to come out here. It's going to go from this red one to this yellow one. Once we ground and power these, it's going to come out here. So I want my two-step and my trans brake on this wire. So here's my trans brake wire right here. This is the power wire for the trans brake. The trans brake solenoid is grounded underneath the car. So we're going to run our yellow wire and our trans brake power wire to this one. That way when we're on the button, power comes out here, turns the trans brake on, and then turns the two-step on. And then when we let off the button, it comes out this pink one and over here, and if the nitrous is turned on, it energizes that relay and then turns the nitrous on. Now to energize this relay, I'm going to run this straight to power right here. And then this one is going to go to the trans brake button in the car. And then it'll go to the trans brake button, and the other side of the trans brake button will go to ground. So trans brake can control it by grounding it out. Well, I'm kind of at a standstill because I need an eyelet to run that there. I need to get some self-tappers too, because I'll tap that one right there. I'm going to tap this one over here. But if I was thinking, I would have ran the main power for the relay, this red one, the main power for the relay, and the main power to turn the relay on, both to one wire, since I'm going to operate this through the ground wire. But I wasn't thinking about that at that time. Honestly, at that time, I wasn't sure if I was going to use the trans brake button through power or through ground. So I wasn't sure at that point, but I'm going to do it through ground. And I should do it through power, but it's just going to be easier to do it through ground. And the reason I don't want to do that is because if this wire shorts out, if this wire going to the trans brake button shorts out, then on the ground, it's going to turn the trans brake on. The trans brake on this car, it'll only work in first gear. So, but yeah, I'm going to stuff these wires down in here, run a wire loom over there, and call it for the night. And then I'll come back out here and we'll hook this power wire up that activates the relay, and then we'll run this into the car to the trans brake button. Alright, went ahead and tidied those lines up a little bit, and put the trans brake in the steering wheel, which you have to take that nut and washer off and spiral it through those. But if you pull it long ways, it'll spiral itself down through there, but then you got to spiral it through the hole. But it fits perfect. Yeah, looking good. Finish it up tomorrow once I get one of those eyelet pieces. It's starting to get cold out here. Alright, got me a couple of self-tappers. Drilled a small pilot hole, bolted those down, and then I got an eyelet, ran that. So this is the power wire to energize the relay, and this is the ground wire to energize the relay. It's got to have both to energize the relay. So we're going to run this in the car. And I'm going to have to take that computer out because I'm going to run it right through that computer hole. There we go. I stuck this wire right down through that grommet. I've got everything run through. There's a wide band, nitrous line, a few different things running through there. And then it's just hanging out right here. But that's going to be the ground wire for the relay. But so we come into the passenger side of the car. And we're at least going to have to take that kick panel out. So there's the hole it comes out of. I've already got it out. But if you have your air box in there, probably want to take your kick panel out to reach back in there. But this is the kick panel. It's got bolts across the side here, which I've only got a couple in mine. But yeah, this kick panel, there's only like a screw there and a screw over here, which that one wasn't hooked up because it was broke. But I'll put that back up in there. All right, so now we're going to run that wire all the way across over to the passenger side, or driver's side. I'm over on the driver's side now. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm just going to wire this up. And then I'm going to wedge it down inside here. If I wedge it in there real good, hopefully it won't come out when I turn the steering wheel. And that'll give me plenty of room for it to wrap around the steering wheel. Plus it'll give it a good angle coming out right there to wrap around the steering wheel without hitting any of this. But see how good that holds. If it don't hold real good, we'll see. Now, on both sides, you have to take the kick panel out. There's a stud there with a bunch of ground wires on it. And since I've already got that kick panel out, I'm just going to run it back to there. So, this wire is going to run to one of those, and then I'm going to run one out and over to that kick panel on that stud under the kick panel, that ground. So a buddy of mine give me these little quick connects. You just lift up on that orange piece, push the wire in there. That way, if I ever want to move this thing, it'll be easy to move. But typically I've just been using those solder connectors where if you heat them up with a heat gun or a lighter, they solder and shrink wrap at the same time. That's actually going to work really good because there's that stud in there that's going to hold it in there. I ain't going to move easy. Yeah. All right, I zipped those two wires up to that main harness that goes across through there. And then I took the screws out for this side panel. Set it back there. And that exposes my grounding block. So this is the one that's going to get grounded. So we'll cut that, put that in one of them little circle pieces, and we'll put that on there. And then we'll reassemble the dash same way we took it, the kick panel and stuff, same way we took it out. All right, that's hooked all back up. Now we just need to run this blue wire to right there, and we're done. And then we'll check the box, and then we'll do some testing. All right, everything's hooked up. Let's check our box. So this is the two-step. For instance, I got it at 2 on the 1000 and 5 on the 100. So that's 2,500. I'm going to test it there. I'm going to put it at 35. Now, the retard on your left is set at 6, and then the rate is set at 0. Which means as soon as I hit the nitrous, it's going to pull 6 degrees. You can put a rate in there. Like if I was using the progressive and ramping it in over a second, then I could put the rate at 1 second, and it'll take it'll you know, pull 2 degrees, 4 degrees, 6 degrees up to a second. I believe those are seconds. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not going to use that part. Even if I was ramping it in with the progressive, I wouldn't use that. And I'm going to pull 6 degrees on a 100 shot just because. But yeah, let's test it out. Now this trans brake here, it only works in first gear, the trans brake does, but now if you put it in neutral and hit the button, it should go in reverse. So let's try that out. Alright, we're in neutral, so as soon as we hit the trans brake, it should go in reverse. There it goes. Let's back it out and try the two-step. Alright, we got it in drive. Oh, that's awesome. It works. Let's go to the drag strip.